Happy New Year. Well, I'm like, what, 2 months too late for that? But this is the first episode of Table Talk in 2021. Welcome back. Thank you. As always, I know you could have really been doing anything else with your time, but you chose to either watch or listen to this on iTunes and Spotify and all the other platforms or whatever that we on. So welcome back. Thank you for tuning in. I'm Terrence Turner. Today, for the first episode, I started noticing something too when we were on the break and everything, because we just been super busy. But I noticed that I've never had like a one-on-one with the opposite sex as well. You know, we had, on the last episode we had Casey and Courtney on. So, but I started thinking, I'm like, man, I gotta do something about that. So my first guest is actually a woman. And she makes her rounds, in a sense. She's worked on several campaigns. She's a business owner. She's a mommy too, right?
I'm a mom.
She's a mom too. So my first guest of 2021, I said, let me reach out to Ashley Rankins. How are you doing?
I'm well. Thanks for having me.
Well, I'm glad you were able to come on, pull up to the table so we can have conversation about all things relevant, we'll say. We got politics, we got entertainment, things of that nature. I know you're into politics as well too, because I've seen you in the field. So first things first, I want to address how did you get into politics like that? Because I've seen you work on different campaigns.
Well, I was actually kind of dragged into it. Dragged into it, yeah. I went to volunteer. And I ended up getting picked for like the campaign manager position. So after I became a campaign manager,
now which campaign was this?
This was for Niles Hamer. He ran for juvenile court judge.
Mm-hmm.
He was unsuccessful, but we ran a very great campaign.
I saw y'all out there. Y'all were everywhere. It was a
everywhere.
very effective campaign. It did come up short, but the experience is probably invaluable, correct?
Yes, it has helped me with so many other ventures and so many other campaigns that I've worked on.
Okay. Now, you said you volunteered, but you got dragged in. Explain that to me, because, that made my antennas go up a little bit.
Yeah.
How do you volunteer and then next thing you know, you get dragged? Does that speak to your intellect?
It does.
I see.
See, because I just wanted to be here and there. And then when he seen what I was capable of, he was like, well, Ashley, if you're available to be the campaign manager, we need a campaign manager. And I was like, anything for you, Hamer. Anything for you,
That ain't how you said it. I assume you were a little bit more enthusiastic.
Yeah, that's how I said it. I'm real laid back.
So you just dry like that, huh?
Yeah.
I mess with. She doesn't have a dry personality. I'm just kind of teasing her right now.
Yeah, he's on my top bag.
So you got drug into it, and you became a campaign manager.
Yes.
Man, so how was that experience?
Man, it was an experience. It was an experience within itself, but it was such an eye opener, and the people that I met along the way, it was just an awesome experience.
Okay. Now, what kind of people did you meet along the way? Like, we talking about more like people in the political field, business people, what?
I met a little bit of everybody. I met a lot of people in power. I met a lot of judges, a lot of the lawyers, a lot of business executives, even people that's not local that came to support him, that will have other positions in other states. So that was a good experience. So I can go anywhere and know somebody in power. Like I can get a ticket call. I should have probably said that.
Oh, okay. Now, what other campaigns have you worked on?
I've worked with Quintillis Lawrence. I worked with Christopher Dassau. I like to work with people who are going to be judges because my degree is in criminal justice. So I like to stay in my field.
You got a master's in that, right?
Yeah, I have a master's.
I read that correctly?
Mm-hmm.
You see how she kind of just said that like real nonchalant, like everybody can get a master's in criminal justice, but you got a master's, right?
Yeah.
And when did you get that?
I received my master's in 2018 from Southern University.
Oh, you ain't gonna do the Southern University.
I was gonna do it, but I decided not to.
Oh, okay. I'll put it out there for you then.
Good.
You know, Graham graduate over here though.
Oh Lord.
Don't roll your eyes. You know.
Oh Lord.
You know what it's in for. So tell me about the experience on it was the other campaigns once you got to them, because you would kind of cut your teeth with the Hamer campaign. So did you find the experience a bit different, or now that you would kind of gain more experience from the first one, like what tools did you bring from that first experience to these others?
The other campaigns were definitely easier because Hamer was my first one. It was like a learning experience and trial and error. So I was able to see what really, really worked for us and what didn't work for us. So I was able to bring that to the other campaigns. So one thing that we didn't do too well with in the first campaign was making sure that we canvassed. So I was heading and spearheading, making sure that people got out to canvass and phone banking. That's colossal in campaigns. So that's what I brought to the other campaigns.
Okay. Now, you're also a business owner as well. You have the writer's block, correct?
Correct.
Now, tell me about the writer's block. Like, what's the background with that? Like, if I'm just reading your profile and it says owner of the writer's block, what is the writer's block?
Well, the Writer's Block is an academic and professional ghostwriting company. So what we do is we assist college students with papers, courses, anything that they may need to succeed. And professionally, we do business plans, marketing plans. We basically are like the ghost in a business or in your schoolwork.
So you the spirit of the bodies.
The spirit of the bodies.
Imagine that.
That's us.
Oh, okay. Now, when did you launch the writer's block?
Oh, we launched in 2018. So I graduated in 2018 and I opened my business in 2018.
Okay. So
2018 was a good year.
I see. Is 21 still a good year too? I mean,
21 has been a year after 2020. That's
That's it. It's the year after 2020.
It's the year after 2020, so we're all shaking back from 2020.
Yeah, I think we're all kind of fatigued from 2020. 2020 seemed like it lasts like a decade.
Oh yes, I feel like we're still in 2020 sometimes.
Yeah, I think we in 2020 the sequel.
Yeah, 2028.
Yeah. That's you know what, the calendar just extended. We still in 2020. It's really March. It's like a new month of the same year.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
Now, kind of sticking with politics because that's where I first kind of got to know you. Since we've been off the last episode of the podcast, I think of this podcast was like December. So there have been a lot of things that have happened in the political world since then. They had the presidential election. Mm-hmm. There was a winner that was finally declared.
Yes.
There was an insurrection. I say that like, they got an insurrection, What's your take on the national scene? I'm a fan of local politics as well, but I want to kind of just get your take on like the national scene as far as the two-party system that we're in. I mean, there are other political parties out there, but we know it's a dominating two-party system. What's your take on the pulse of the national scene right now?
Well, I think we were kind of bamboozled by Biden.
Why you say that?
Because a lot of things that we were promised, I know that he just got into office and he hasn't really, been able to enact a few things. But like, I looked at the gas prices the other day, and they're extremely high. Now,
is that national or just the prices around here?
No, that's national.
Okay.
National. I feel like we were bamboozled by Biden because I just don't think that he's going to do everything that he promised. I do love the fact that we have Kamala Harris in office, but I just hope that they do more than what we're seeing right now.
Well, and I mean, my take with politics in general is this: no politician delivers on every promise that they make, or every campaign promise that they make. They may come close. They may it may be some variation of it, but you're not gonna get everything that you want. Hell, look at Trump ran on building a wall for 2 years when he was
Wall
running.
never made it.
Wall never got picked up. He said that they would get a new healthcare plan within the first 100 days. And day 101, he was like, "Who knew healthcare was this hard?"
Mm-hmm.
There are a lot of things he didn't deliver on. I think the most substantial thing that Trump left behind from his administration was the court system. He appointed more judges to the lower and federal courts than probably any president, and I think that that's something that we're not going to see the full effects of immediately. But we do know that with that, when you appoint federal judges and everything, they're basically there for the rest of their life, and that's not just Supreme Court. But when you do that, and it's a certain caliber of people, these are people who had zero experience being a judge, and they've been appointed to these lower courts. I think we're going to see the effects of that for the next 20 or 30 years with certain cases. I think it's going to be a lot of things to be said about that in the future. With the Biden thing, I think a lot of people would really just want to get rid of Trump.
Well, yeah.
I think we had all just been exhausted by that just every day. I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you. That reality show should have been canceled. Like, I got so tired of hearing about his tweets every day. I got tired of hearing about, what he said and who he beefing with. And it's exhausting. So I think a lot of people were just really trying to get rid of him. Let me ask you this then, bringing it back to even before the presidential election. We had the primaries. Who was your pick for that? Before the Democratic, or did you support even a Democratic nominee?
Nah, I wasn't really into it.
Okay.
When Kamala was in it, that's who I was.
That's who you were kind of.
That's who I was hoping for. She's a woman, a black woman.
Okay.
Graduated from HBCU.
All right.
So,
okay, say that then.
So when she was out, I was like, okay, to hell with it.
Okay.
To hell with it.
I mean, hey, you got to be honest about it. I kept up with it a lot. I think in the beginning, I didn't think they had a strong field of contenders, in my opinion. For not that they weren't qualified, not that they wouldn't make good picks if this were any other normal time. But the time that we were in then, I feel like we couldn't afford to not be pragmatic with a pick. And to be honest with you, Biden was probably the most pragmatic pick anybody could have made. That was the safest pick you could have made. And if the goal was just to defeat him at the time, then hey, ride with it. Right. That was my opinion on the whole thing. Is he the best pick? Probably not. But we know for the times we were in, who could you see going up there beating the guy that was there? If we looked at the candidates that we had in the primary, a lot of them, I couldn't have seen them going up one-on-one with him because of the energy that he was bringing from the other side. So that's why you need to kind of like that middle-of-the-road pragmatic pick, in my opinion.
Yeah, you make a strong point. But
I would just look at, okay, hey, are we trying to win or are we trying to prove a point? Because even if you look at the campaigns like with I don't know if you followed the one with was South Carolina with Lindsey Graham and Jamie Harrison? I think that's his name. You might not have followed, but like he was, they were really trying to push him. And I'm like, man, I'm gonna be honest with you, you got to be pragmatic with that. You in South Carolina going against Lindsey Graham, who's been in there for like 20 years. Just pick a Southern charismatic white guy and get it over with so you can win. And then once you get them in there, redistrict them lines. Draw up the redistricting, and that way you give a qualified black candidate a better chance at winning. But it's about playing chess with this. It's about, hey, we're going to do this move because the end result is we want this. But we know we don't have what we need on the ground. You got to change the landscape first. Once you change the landscape, then you can put in the ideal candidate, I feel. But we can't have that residual effect from former President Obama. Because that was, I'm going to be honest, with him, that was kind of an anomaly. That's my opinion, too. How do you feel about that?
I feel the same way. You got a good point.
Yeah, I mean, with things like that.
You almost sound like a politician.
Me? No.
Yeah.
I'm not. No. I am comfortable being in the position that I'm in.
Okay.
Which is behind the scenes.
Yep, that's what I said, too.
And then somebody drug you forward, huh?
Then I got pulled on up.
All right, well, I ain't gonna get drugged forward then. I know how to buy weed.
Oh, okay.
And you were behind the scenes too, so you can't really don't put that on me. You were behind the scenes. They just drug you behind. They ain't drag you in front.
They drugged me a little bit, but it was a nice drag. It wasn't like I was drugged through the mud or anything.
No,
so.
Okay. Do you have any political aspirations?
I thought about it.
Yeah.
I thought about it, but then I realized the type of person that I am, and
Which is?
I'm a real in your face type of person. So I just decided that I'm gonna just lead from the background.
Oh, okay. So no political aspirations at the moment.
At the moment.
But you ain't ruling it out.
I'm ruling it out. I ruled it out already.
No, you said at the moment, which is just this moment.
No. So I thought about it at one point, and it was just a thought.
So just never that you don't see that at all for yourself.
No.
I don't know, man. You got kind of the brain for it.
I know, but I don't have the patience for it.
I mean, you might develop that over time. Am I trying to drag you there too?
You trying?
No, I ain't
You're pushing it.
No, listen. It's Women's Month.
You gonna be my campaign manager if I ever run.
You know what? I will be up for the task then. If you
Okay,
so now see, you ain't got no excuse not to run now for something.
Look what I just did.
Are you searching for something right now?
No.
So, moving kind of back to local politics too. So right around the presidential time, we had a mayor's race. We had a lot of candidates at first, and then it got down to the two. Tell me about because you were kind of around in the mix of that as well too. Tell me a little bit about what you thought about the field when it was a lot of candidates, and then when it got down to two.
Okay, so in that race, initially I was rolling with C. Denise Marcel because I just love her spirit and who she is and what she represents. She represents rawness.
She is raw. If anyone has ever met Representative Marcel, she is raw. She will tell you exactly what's on her mind at the moment. So shout out to Representative Marcel.
Shout out to her. I think that was a good, clean race. When it got down to Mayor Broom and Steve Carter, may he rest in peace. I just knew it was hands down going to go to Mayor Broom.
Now, how'd you know that? I mean, just give me your opinion.
I mean, the competition was stiff.
Yeah, well, I mean, even with looking at the debates at the time.
Oh yeah, she wasn't playing in those debates.
No, she wasn't playing. I think she definitely brought her A game with that. And this is not to besmirch the recently passed Steve Carter, but I watched the debates that he performed in, and he didn't have a good performance at all either. So I mean, the contrast was just evident. I mean, Mayor Broom looked like the mayor.
Right.
Still, she's the mayor, but she looked like she commanded the stage.
She got me when there was one debate, I want to say was with LPB, and she was like, because I am the CEO of this parish, and as a business owner and the CEO of my business, my little baby, her being the CEO of the parish, that speaks like a big gap.
It does. And he didn't do himself any favors by trying to compare the litter problem in Baton Rouge with that of Disney World.
Right.
He said that in the debate. He said, well, we got to be more like Disney World. Disney World is a theme park, sir.
Right.
It's not a city. So that performance, again, not to besmirch, the recently passed Steve Carter, but this is just an assessment on his debate performance, and it was poor. And she didn't help by bringing complete A game to it as well too. So I mean, it really made a contrast with that.
Right.
Keep in kind with local politics too. I mean, we got a national star night now in the White House because Representative Cedric Richmond went on to work in the Biden administration, so that opened up a seat here in Louisiana with the 2nd Congressional District. We got candidates going in and there. What do you think about that? That race is still going on, by the way. By the time this comes out, the race is still, they still won't have a winner, so this is still relevant. But what do you think about that race so far?
I think that race is pretty different. I feel like they're all aiming at each other. I think KCP, Karen Carter Peterson, I think she's running a really good race. And Troy Carter, he's doing a phenomenal job too. Locally, Mr. Chambers, he's raising a lot of money, so that may help him out. But my pick is with KCP and Troy Carter.
So just one of them will be fine. Now, can you vote for them? Because I mean, I know the district. We're in Baton Rouge, and we're not a large part of that district. I can't vote because I'm not in that district.
Yes, I will be casting my vote.
Oh, okay, all right.
For someone who graduated from an HBCU and is a female, so.
Oh man, okay. Let me see. How can we figure that out?
You know who that is.
Man, I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of people running. We got to try to figure it out.
Yeah, so that's that.
Now, I'm coming off of actually producing one of the debates that they just had for the congressional district. So I was able to kind of see their performance up close and personal as well too. For the most part, I think it was pretty balanced as far as the distribution between the questions. When we were putting it together, one of the things that I wanted to make sure of is that we put questions out there that press the candidates to see if they actually know the ins and outs of what they're actually running for. Especially since how it was a couple weeks ago. Did you hear about the newly elected senator who didn't know the 3 branches of government? I can't call his name now. I can't never remember that guy's name. But yeah, he didn't know the 3 branches of government, and he's a United States senator right now. So one of the sections that we had on there was basic civics, where we just asked basic questions where if you're trying to run for Congress, these are things you should know. Now, I was surprised. 2 of the candidates didn't fare well with the basic civics question, and that was Classman Bernard. He kind of got stuck. Gary Chambers didn't fare too well with the basic civics questions too. That brings me to my point with this. Do you think when it comes to politics, we're too engulfed with popularity and not qualifications?
Oh, definitely. Popularity will win a race before a qualified candidate any day.
Well, I mean, that's kind of how Trump got in the White House, right?
Yeah. And that's how a lot of these local elections work. Like, if you're a part of the in crowd, you don't really have to do too much because the in crowd's name alone is going to help you win.
Right.
So, yeah, popularity.
I was having a conversation with one of my friends the other day, and I actually put Gary in the same basket with Trump. But the reason being is because I said this is someone who was wildly popular but doesn't exhibit the qualifications to actually be an elected official. And once I explained it, My friend was like, you know what, you're right. And these are things that, I bring up every once in a while because I think these are important issues that if someone is aspiring to be on a certain level or do a certain thing, I think that we should vet them properly.
Yeah.
Did you get a chance to see Judas and the Black Messiah yet?
No.
You ain't seen that movie yet?
No. I don't really watch TV.
Oh,
I'm not a TV watcher.
that's right. You're a writer.
I'm a writer.
What? Okay. Well, let me. I brought that up because if you know the story of that with William O'Neill, he was a paid informant to infiltrate the Black Panther Party. And I bring that up for a reason because we just finished talking about people not being qualified or not exhibiting certain qualifications. And I bring it up because I feel like they're one and the same. If we don't vet certain people, then they harm the larger community in a sense. William O'Neill clearly wasn't properly vetted, and he infiltrated and he, fed information to the FBI and counterintelligence programs and, ended up, being one of the contributing factors to Fred Hampton being murdered. You see what I'm saying? These are things that I feel like our community have not done in, historically. If you know the history of Malcolm X, one of his people who were working security for him was actually an undercover officer. Nobody knew that. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So I feel like, because I get messages from people, especially, like on social media when I'm raising certain issues about people, in their qualification. Like, why are you hating? I'm like, no, it's not hate. It's vetting. Mm-hmm. Because I feel like if you can't answer certain things, if you can't answer for certain things, then that's a problem. But we got to be able to ask these questions of people who are aspiring to be leaders, whether it be elected officials, activists, whatever. I feel like they should be pressed on certain things so we know exactly who we're dealing with. If you, like, for example, if you and I go into business together, right? Mm-hmm. But let's say we start a car dealership, right? Mm-hmm. And we combine our resources to buy a building and cars and everything, right? But you never check to see that I'm a drug dealer. So then what happens if I get arrested for dealing drugs, being an illicit drug dealer? What happens to you?
I go down with you.
Exactly. Now it's up to you to prove that you were completely unaware that you were in business with a criminal. Right? Mm-hmm. So if you're going to do business with someone, you have to do due diligence on them. You have to know exactly where their funds come from. You have to know exactly, who they're dealing with. Otherwise, you can be, you end up being a co-defendant.
Right. Checks and balances.
Exactly. So is that any different than us pressing people who aspire to be activists and leaders and elected officials in our community?
No.
Shouldn't we do our due diligence on them?
We should.
Okay. So, in your opinion, I'm not a hater, right?
You're not a hater.
Boom! See?
You're simply an informed person who wants valid answers that you should have the answers to.
I'm glad that you see that point. I be trying to tell people I'm not a hater. I just want answers.
You just want answers. Put that on a shirt.
That
people like selling shirts.
See, that's that marketing brain coming out. I see you.
Put it on a shirt.
Now, tell me what do you have going on now with the writer's block and just your overall business? Because like I said, I mean, not only do you have the writer's block, but I know you're heavy into working on campaigns as well too. But I mean, there's not a lot of campaigns going on now. What do you have going on now?
So this is top secret.
Oh, so I get an exclusive? Wait, hold on.
Exclusive. Put the music on.
All right, let me wet the whistle here. Okay.
Okay, so I'm currently working on a program that reduces recidivism for the offenders. So basically, once they are released from prison, they get to, if they need education services, if they need life skills, if they need family skills, if they need mental health situations, we're going to assist with that.
Okay.
So that's my new little baby that I'm getting ready to drop.
Now, what made you want to get into that?
Well, like I said, my degree is in criminal justice, and I've always wanted to help with recidivism, well, to reduce recidivism. And
Now, explain that to people who may not know
what recidivism
exactly.
is. So recidivism is when the chances of a offender reoffending. So basically, if you take an offender out of a situation and you don't give him anything to rehabilitate himself, it's a likely chance that he's gonna offend again because he doesn't know any better. So if you give them the proper tools, then it's a chance that they may, adjust to society and become an abiding citizen.
Like, give me an example, like the proper tools.
They need work, especially if they are convicted felons. So most convicted felons can't get a job, so they're going to need tools to help them start a business so that they can get money, because they don't need to be out here slinging iron or selling drugs.
Exactly.
So,
like I brought up, you don't need to sell drugs and then partner up with somebody who don't know you sell drugs.
Right.
Like, everybody go down.
Yep, we all going down.
I interjected on that point.
And so also education may prohibit some of the offenders from moving forward in life. So getting them hooked up with a GED, or if they have that GED, if they want to go to college, the writer's block can help them with that.
Okay. So that's the new baby. Now, what are you looking for? Are you looking for any kind of organizations to partner with, anything like that, or how does that work?
Well, the local organizations, they're kind of stuck in their ways, kind of, sort of. So right now I'm doing it all myself. I'm looking for offenders who recently got out of prison, who need help, any kind of help. I have a guy who was released from the feds, and he's writing a book. He's got his credit score up. He didn't want to do school, but he's opened a cleaning service. So we've started doing things like that already with the inmates. I'm sorry, they're not inmates anymore. They've been released.
Right.
So
Former inmates. Rehabilitated people of our community.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, making success stories.
Okay. Man, well, that sounds very interesting. I'm intrigued, and I'll even say it right here. If there's anything I can do to help, please don't hesitate. Let me know.
I sure will.
You said that
I sure will.
Oh, okay.
'Cause I have some things up my sleeve that I may need you for.
Oh, okay. Well, hey, I ain't got no. Well, I got short sleeves on, but I'm down for the cause.
Okay.
So, this has been interesting, man. Especially talking to someone who's a layered individual, who not only is, a business owner, but close in politics, and what you're doing now, the top secret exclusive that we just got.
Yes.
It could be considered activism. So you're a very layered individual.
Don't reach, not activism.
That's kind of activism, don't you think?
No, I don't think. I wouldn't take it that far.
You don't think so?
No.
Helping people reconnect in society and making sure that they don't become repeat offenders. That's a strong thing for the community, which could be considered activism. Just saying.
Okay.
We just look, if we got to put labels on people, let's put positive labels on. That's all I'm saying.
Okay, well, I like that positive label.
Okay. Now, the other label that you wear very proudly is you are a mommy.
Yes, I'm a mommy of 3.
3 kids. Now what you got? You got boys, girls, what?
I have boys and girls, 10, 6, and 3. My girls are the youngest.
Oh, so you got 2 girls, 1 boy.
2 girls, 1 boy.
Man, how does he feel, man, being in a house full of women?
He hates it.
Now, how old is he?
He's 10.
He's 10 and
so he stays in his room and plays the game. So we let him have his moment.
Okay. Now, how do you balance being the mommy, business owner? We gonna say activist too.
Okay.
We gonna say that too.
Okay.
How do you balance all of these hats that you have to wear?
Sometimes a hat gets dropped, but I be sure not to let it hit the floor.
Oh, you got quick hands.
Quick hands.
Okay.
Yeah. my main goal is to make sure that everything is flowing. Everything doesn't have to be perfect at the time. It just has to flow. And as long as it's flowing, I have room to fix it if it's messing up.
Interesting.
Yep.
A lot of layers to you.
A lot.
Well, I appreciate you pulling up to the table.
Thanks for having me at the table, the first table.
This the
Of the
first
year.
Oh yeah, the first table of the year, man. I appreciate you coming up. Give everybody information that they can look you up, like website, anything, real quick, because I said, we got the top secret exclusive thing today,
Well, my
but we want to
website-
make sure that that's undergirded with support.
Okay, my website isn't up and running just yet, but you can follow me on Instagram at The Right Lady, and you can follow me on Facebook at Ashley Kiera.
All right, well there you have it. Ashley Kiera Rankins.
Oh, the whole name, the whole full government name.
Full government Social Security right there.
Good thing I ain't into no dabbling.
I'm glad too. Okay. So, thank you for pulling up. Appreciate you.
No problem.
Just remember, you're either at the table or you're on the menu. We'll be back next time.